Good evening, I'm Isabel Rosales. Thank you for joining us. The Bay Area rocked overnight by 2 tornadoes. Schools, churches, roads, and homes seeing major damage, all after many of us went to bed. We have team coverage from Pinellas and Polk counties hitting every angle of this story. But first, we want to head over to meteorologist Greg D. And Greg, have you seen tornadoes like these before here in Florida? How common are they?
Isabel, only when I worked in the Midwest have I seen something like this, not here in Florida. Here is the setup. A couple of days ago, we had a cold front move down through the state. So yesterday, actually, north of Tampa, temperatures were in the 60s with the rain. To the south was the warm air. Here comes Nestor pulling in, pushing all the warm air back, creating a warm front right across the region. These warm fronts, back in places like Tornado Alley, act like focusing mechanisms, allowing storms to form along them. The storm that produced a tornado in Polk County was the southernmost storm. It had open air to warm fuel down to the south. By 11 o'clock, it was already down south of I-4, heading north, crossing the interstate just after 11 o'clock. Interesting feature on the radar around 11:30, you could actually make out the debris in the air on our radar. It looked like heavy rain before the storm finally lifted north of Kathleen and weakened. The rating on this one, it's an EF2 tornado with peak winds of 120 miles an hour. The track length, an unusual 9 miles. And a width of 0.3 miles. And by the way, I checked the stats. This may be the only EF2 tornado ever recorded in Polk County in the month of October, and one of only 16 ever recorded in that county of that rating. JJ Burton was out in Polk County today looking at the damage, which was quite severe in some places.
We drove around and found damage all over Polk County, but officials say this is the worst of it near Mount Tabor Road.
Before we could move, it just came through the house.
The EF2 tornado literally ripped the roof off William and Linda Wright's house. It landed in this field. A part of their brick wall landed on them while they were asleep in bed.
I thought I was dead. It trapped me down onto the floor. And then I heard my wife screaming, so I managed to get out. And I found her, and we got the 2 dogs, and we all got out.
Irma ripped their roof off 2 years ago. The damage wasn't bad, and they were able to save their house. But this time,
never imagined.
William choked up looking at what's left. And just about everything they own is gone.
But like I said, we're alive. That can be redone.
But this is their hope. Their flag and cross are still standing. Thankfully, their injuries were minor. According to officials, there were no serious injuries and no one had to be taken to the hospital.
I'm just grateful. My kid's okay, my husband's okay, my dogs are okay, and all the people in my neighborhood are okay.
And Kathleen, JJ Burton, ABC Action News.
One church now using its volunteers to clean up, but there are even more losses than just the building. ABC Action News reporter Julie Salamone joins us live in Kathleen with the reason they are trying to get rid of food they usually save for needy families. Julie.
Yeah, Isabel, they were just handing out that food to neighbors. Neighbors today are dealing with a lot. They tell me they are just purely exhausted. You can just see tree branches and all of this flying debris from the storm. The tree branches go for miles. Many of those trees splitting in half during the storm, so they had to be removed today. And over to my right is the property where that church is. Many of the volunteers helping that church clean up. Mount Tabor Baptist Church cleaning up after a tornado ripped through Polk County late last night. The National Weather Service says an EF2 tornado hit Polk County with winds up to 120 miles per hour. The church lost its ministry center where they feed up to 200 families every Thursday. Today, they handed out leftover food they had in its freezers. The church usually holds 2 services on Sunday. Those have been moved to Bethel Baptist Church. Volunteers cleaning up the destruction.
The thing I've been most proud of is our community. They have responded. About half the people working out here this afternoon have been community people. They've come by, how can we help clean up, using the Bobcats and that kind of thing.
And you're taking a live look. This is where they were just handing out some of that leftover food. They had to get rid of it because they lost their freezers. This building is just a total loss right now. The pastor tells me he will not be able to rebuild this building, so he's trying to come up with a plan on how to help those needy families, but he will be making repairs to the church. That is the latest live here in Polk County. Julie Salmon, ABC Action News.